Mark, this happened just as you were walking on stage. You've been thinking about it now for 50 minutes. What's your take?
This cannot be understated. This is the biggest executive change at Apple since they had to change CEOs because Steve Jobs passed away. Jony Ive has been known by many as an extension of Steve Jobs. When Jobs passed away in 2011, there was some optimism about the future of the company because Jony was still around. But for years, we've been seeing signs that this was going to happen. When he was given that Chief Design Officer title in 2015, it became very clear that he was sort of starting to shift away from Apple. And in many ways, I felt he could live with this Chief Design Officer title for the rest of his life, sort of what you see with Dyson, right? In Europe, Dyson isn't really handling it day to day, but he's the name behind it. Jony Ive is the guy behind the white earbuds in your ears, the slim iPhone in your pocket, the look of the Apple Watch that you're wearing. His importance to Apple is immense. It's bigger than anyone else's. So him leaving the company, this is a drastic shift, but I think it's probably safe to say that the top 100 people at Apple think of this as something that's coming out officially rather than something that's actually changing now.
All right, Dan Ives, who covers Apple with us. Dan, you know, what does this mean for the business of Apple? What does this mean for the stock?
Yeah, I mean, look, Mark, I think, put it best. I mean, it's a seismic change. He's been a key part of Cupertino's success and DNA, you know, over the last decade. And I think these are shoes that are not going to be filled. He's had the Midas, you know, that sort of golden touch for Apple. Now the question is, does Cook take over more ownership of Apple? Think about it. Angelo left on retail. Now you have Jony leaving on the design side. I think this just shows Cook also is going to have to really take on more of a role, especially during this transition. But no doubt, this is something investors, you know, it's going to be a concern, although I think that's maybe overstaying the near term. But he has been what Apple represents today.
Mark, Jony Ive was, you know, always obsessed with the details, but how involved has he really been in the newest products, and how much does Apple need him? Who are the generation of new leaders that are going to fill the void?
What Apple will tell you in the message they have been positioning since he took the Chief Design Officer title is that Jony is as hands-on as ever. He's intimately involved with products. Nothing has changed. But I think that simply is not true. I think that he has been stepping back for the past several years. He's been less seen at Apple's campus for the past few years. Sure, it's true he was heavily involved with the design of Apple Park, but the products you're seeing are not products that he has been involved in as much as he was involved in the iPod back in the day, or the Apple Watch, or the iPhone. The Apple Watch was really, in my opinion, and, you know, according to insiders as well, Jony Ive's finale. That was his last big thing. He loves watches. It was a personal project meshed with this health device that they were trying to build. And so that really will be his lasting imprint on Apple, I think, his last big thing there. And I think this talk about Apple being a client of his new design studio, that's just another transition word. That's another way of saving face. Sure, they might do some exclusive one-offs with him. Sure, he's going to stay involved with his many friends on the design team and probably Tim Cook and others there. But now, you know, he's officially gone from Apple.
So what does the next chapter of Apple look like?
The next chapter of Apple, I think, hasn't been decided yet because the roadmap of designs they have is so long and wide-ranging. They were talking about this new Mac Pro that they came out with, how the design for that was conceptualized many years ago. So you're going to still see Jony Ive's influence on products for probably the next 5 years or so. But what is the new generation, you asked? Well, there's two people taking charge now. There's Alan Dye, who's being elevated to Vice President of User Interface Design. He held that position between 2015 and 2017 when Jony was off doing things, including designing the Apple Park campus. Then there's Evans Hankey. She runs the design studio. She is in charge there. But you're going to see some seismic changes, not tomorrow, but in a few years from now.